is a scene that everyone loves in Requiem. Anyways, okay, so got it. We're on our second Halo 2 or Halo 4 level, right? So
Yeah.
Vile, what do we do in Halo 1? First level, we're in a ship. Second level, we're on the ground. We walk around for a bit, and then eventually, we get a Warthog, right? And then we have a
Yeah.
Warthog sequence. That's Halo 1, right? In Halo 2, we're on board a space station, or a space station slash gun. A large gun attached to a space station, right, Vile? Level
Mm-hmm.
2, we get down to the ground, we fight a bunch with Marines, and then, oh, we get a Warthog, and we have a Warthog sequence. Halo 3, what do we do? First level, we're in a jungle. It's a bit different than fighting in a ship, but we're still on like kind of a linear path.
Mm-hmm.
Level 2 is Crow's Nest, which I won't necessarily forgive as far as gameplay aspects go. I like the ideas of it, but I mean, I have a lot of problems with Halo 3, even though I've played Halo 3 so much. Halo 3 was like my entire life from like 2007 to 2009 basically was Halo 3. I can't deny that. I played it a lot, but now I'm an old man and I'm jaded. But the third level, after the second level, you get in a Warthog with Marines right away. So it's kind of like the second and third level are kind of combined the second level in Halo 3, which I'm not saying is a good idea, I'm just saying that's kind of what they did. And
The
then
second level is just the space station, but on the ground.
it is basically that. Yeah, that's true. You fight drones. That's like the main thing. But anyways, you're right. You're right. And there's a section where the brutes are like in the barracks. But the point is, the third level is the vehicle level. What do? You get in a Warthog with a bunch of Marines, and you're like, oh my gosh! In every single one of those levels, right? Just
Mm.
emphasizing a point. I'm emphasizing a point. They introduce the human vehicle. Get in. You don't have a gun by default, but if friends are alive, they get in and they man the gun. And if you have more friend in passenger seat, and you can give them guns, Vile, so you can give them a rocket launcher or a
Wow.
sniper rifle or whatever. So you get all those concepts. Now, Halo CE is perfect in every way, so we'll start there. We'll talk about the other Halos after that, but the Halo CE's second level is maybe the best level in all of Halo from a design standpoint. It's perfect. You crash land, alien world, weird stuff. You've lost all your allies. You can see dead bodies all around you. Probably because the Master Chief didn't strap in and he bounced around the fucking escape pod like a pinball and murdered everyone in there. But that's okay. You know, he gets out, dropships coming after you, fighting some Covenant. You go around the corner. Oh my gosh, there's Marines! They're alive! Just, I believe, the line that Cortana says to some effect. And then you hold out against a bunch of Covenant. If any Marines are alive, they'll follow you to the Pelican and then get in. And then the Pelican says, somebody order a well, I guess that's Silent Dog or whatever. She drops off the Warthog after you see a bunch of escape pods also coming down, which is what you came down in. Okay, got it. Rescue the other Marines. I see 3 other escape pods coming down. And then I got a vehicle. I got a Jeep. You get in the driver's seat. You get a gunner by default. And if anyone's alive, anyone's left, they'll get in the passenger seat before they get in the Pelican. Got it. This is a vehicle that's not that powerful by itself, but if you have allies that are alive, okay, cool, awesome, stronger. Now, Vile, what if you don't have anyone alive, and as soon as the Warthog drops, you shoot the Marine somehow, if you're an idiot? Okay? You can still drive the Warthog through the scene, right? Because you drive
Mm.
the Warthog through the next fight, you go into the tunnel, you have the little tunnel where Cortana explains stuff, you do that little ramp, and then what happens? You go into the next section, there's jackals and stuff, you can avoid them. No matter which area you go to, Vile, every single one has Marines. Isn't that interesting? And then you
Yeah.
get there, and the Marines can get in your Warthog, even if you were literally the worst Halo player alive. They'll get in your Warthog, and they'll start shooting and doing stuff. Halo 2, again, once you get in the Warthog, you're going down the tunnels. Even if you lose your gunner and your passenger, you can still kind of survive in that sequence. And the plot still kind of makes sense. It's like, okay, everyone died with the cheat, but you keep going. But if you have those Marines alive, they're saying one-liners as they shoot shadows in that tunnel. You know, it's awesome. Halo 3, Sabo Highway. Man, I think that's the second most fun replayable co-op level in Halo 3, which the Halo 3 I almost feel like is more fun as a co-op game than a solo game. But I mean, I could write essays on every single Halo level, but and every single Halo design. The point that I'm making, okay, Halo 1, 2, 3. Very clear, level 1, you're in a long corridor where you fight enemies. Sometimes with allies, but usually not with too many. Second and or third level, you get the Warthog, and it is very clearly emphasized throughout the entire gosh darn level. The Warthog is cool, but it's cooler if you have allies. And that's kind of like the whole idea of the it's not just introducing the Warthog vial, but it's also introducing, like, okay, you fought just on foot against enemies just on foot, no vehicles. And then level 2 and or 3 introduced, you use vehicles, the enemy use vehicles. The Covenant tend to use vehicles that are more singular, like the Ghost or the Banshee, as opposed to the humans who use vehicles that are more teamwork oriented, right? Okay. You're following me so far, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward. ODST. First, let's skip over Mombasa Streets, which is kind of more of like learning the controls, you know, and it's kind of almost separate from the curated ODST experience per level. Which, I mean, I could talk for a while about how ODST is probably the best designed game since Halo CE, but as far as a single player experience, right? But anyways, first level, you play as Buck. I think that the Buck level is one of the like top 5 designed levels for you're on foot, there's no vehicles, you fight the Covenant, and the level. It's awesome. It's so straightforward, so simple. It introduces every single mechanic so well. That first level's great. Second level, Uplift Reserve Vial. You're playing as Dutch, you're on the ground with a heavy gun, you get there, there's Marines fighting brutes over a Warthog, you get in the Warthog. Got it, I understand this level. This is the vehicle level. I've got Marines. I've got 2 other Warthogs that show up. Got it! So ODST nails it. And then Reach. Level 1. Winter Contingency. Yes, you have a vehicle on that level, but it's more of a metaphorical... It's a vehicle to get you to the next fight. Like, you're not, like, using the pickup truck as, like... yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like okay, I use this to traverse the area and get to the next area. The real first vehicle heavy level is Sword Base, where you fight through the initial infantry stuff, like most of these levels. And then you go outside. Oh, there's a Warthog, and then you get in it. And then you drive around to objectives outside. And you get out of it at the end, and then you go, okay, got it. All of this makes sense. So, first level of Halo 4 Vial, we skipped over it here. I'm making a point.
Yeah, well, I remember the first level, so...
Sure. You play through it, you fight through the ship. Okay, got it. So we're on the second level Vial. Okay. This is how Halo 4 introduces you to what vehicles are for in this game. Now, vehicles all the way up to this point in the last 5 games consistently have been introduced as, you have this vehicle, now use it against the enemy by, herding up the stray kittens that are your allies, you know what I mean? Keeping them alive.
Warthogs, still in one piece.
Okay, cool. There's Warthogs here. Presumably we'll go through a tunnel soon to reference CE. Okay, got it. Okay. Got it. We've got a distress signal radioing. Okay, cool. I've got the Warthog. I've got an awesome alien environment. I'm really excited to do some vehicle combat, and I'm so excited to be introduced to all of the cool vehicle combat stuff in the Halo series. Like, oh man, I'm gonna run into some Marines that somehow were in like another compartment of the Forerunner of Dawn, or hey, maybe ODSTs will drop down from another ship and they'll be like, yeah, there's a ship that's here to rescue you, Chief, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. We're doing the tunnel thing. We're doing the this cave is not a natural formation reference, but instead it's referencing the Halo 4 plot, which, don't get me wrong, is actually quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cortana and Chief in 4. I think Chief probably has more lines in 4 than he had in any other game, which is notable.
Chief, I'm hearing that strange signal again.
Okay, got it. We're moving into this grassy area. I'm really excited to use this vehicle. Let's... Oh. Is this all Covenant? Okay. I guess we'll... Oh man, they're shooting at me a lot. Now granted, I changed this file. I added more enemies, but it's notable that in Legendary and in Heroic, depending upon the enemy squad in this scene, every other grunt has a pure rod gun. That's a real thing. You can go and play vanilla Halo 4 right now and see that I'm not lying. It's like, oh man, there's a lot of enemies. Well, I should get out and fight them, but they gave me this vehicle, so maybe there's a... Oh my gosh, there's more enemies this way. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, there's that guy have a sniper. Oh, okay. This guy's just jumping around. Okay. Well, I saw that before in another level. I guess we'll stay under the sniper. Well, surely, alright, surely this section is about vehicles, because, like, the first level... Oh, well, there's a lot of... Oh, my... Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Oh. Okay. Alright, so maybe this section isn't about vehicles. Making a point. By the way, if you keep going with the Warthog, you will notice that this section... And let me just use my binoculars and prove a point. Oh! There's a ledge there that's designed to stop your Warthog. Alright, so okay, so your second level. Here's the Warthog. Here's a conversation with you and Cortana to reference C. Alright, get out of the vehicle, you idiot. You buffoon, you fool, you ape! Get out and fight some guys. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they're waiting to introduce vehicle stuff in the next one. Maybe they'll subvert my expectations on Forerunner, where I get in a ghost... And then I drive in a scripted sequence straight out of Uncharted. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I'll get a vehicle sequence on the next level. You do. The very first vehicle that you were introduced that you can use in combat in Halo 4... Actually, I lied, sorry. Forerunner has another... And Requiem do have another thing. Sorry. Let's backtrack a bit. On Requiem, there's a bridge where you can get into Banshee Vial. It's unmanned. You fly it. You can fight 2 Banshees. If you kill them, 2 more Banshees appear.
Okay.
The end of this section, this tiny little section, is a very cool bridge. Don't get me wrong, it's very cool. It's visually, it's a lot cooler than the bridges in CE. I'll give it that. It's like curved and it looks very pretty. You can't fly above it, and the only way to proceed is to land, go through a door, and then that's fine, the Banshee's gone. So you fight, you know, a handful of Banshees. Forerunner actually has another section, as you saw, where if you hijack that Banshee fast enough, you run over that Elite, or LAM or whatever, and you hijack that Banshee, you can use that Banshee to either skip the sequence or shoot guys on foot, and you fight some Banshees, like you did in Requiem. Okay. So there's none of that, like, human camaraderie thing, and you could say, like, hey, Halo 4 is doing something different. It's all about the Chief by themselves. Yeah, that's fair. So Infinity. I like this level a lot. In a vacuum. I think in a vacuum, this level's freaking sweet. And I've changed a lot to it. To make it more like, kind of like my kind of level, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The very first vehicle that you use, it is a human vehicle that you use in combat against the enemy on this level. It's a Scorpion tank. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. All I'm saying is, they introduced you to the Warthog, and then you did nothing with it. They introduced you to the Ghost, and you go forward and fast really with it. You don't really need to do anything with the gun. You can technically have a ghost sequence, I suppose, where the two ghosts try to run over the knight. That's technically where it's introduced, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, you fight some random elites and knights that are fighting each other more than you, and then you fight some jackals. Whatever. I don't care. It's just this. To me, it's a very strange layout. Like, I'm a very structure focused guy. You know me, and I'm a very much like 1, 2, 3. You can have structure, but you can also have surprises, right? Like on Composer, man, I surprise the player left and right with stuff, but I'm still following like a structure, an intentional structure. So the first time that you ever use a human vehicle with a group is the tank, and then after that, on Reclaimer, you use the mammoth, which is like an elephant but larger. There's a lot of problems I have with the Reclaimer, but eventually it's like you have to go out and rescue some people. I'm not going to spare the context. Go out in the runabout, I mean the Warthog. And then you get in the Warthog. And that's cool. You drive around and you fight, I think, like a wraith and like a ghost or two. You get the target designator, and then you can stick around and fight those enemies if you want, or you can just laser des the objective. So, like, ghosts and wraiths will keep dropping nonstop, and if you want to fight them, you can, but the game is basically saying, like, yeah, just use the power weapon on the thing up in the sky. And that'll end the segment. I just think it's really weird when I'm... literally the only level where you're like, man, let's do some fun Halo Warthog stuff is Reclaimer. Because after that, you get shut down, or you fly a pelican for the first time, and... I don't know. You fight some phantoms outside of their effective range. You got Composer, which I actually love that level, it's awesome. It doesn't have a vehicle section with the Warthog or anything, and you got Midnight. So the only section in all of Halo 4 where you use a Warthog in a way where, like, you get in a Warthog, and then friendlies get in the Warthog, and you drive in circles around the enemy until they're dead, is the 5th level. That's the only level. I'm not saying that makes a good Halo. I'm just saying it's very strange to me to introduce the Warthog on level 2 and be like, yo, if you just wait until level 5, you're gonna see some shit. You're gonna fight a tank and then get back in the mammoth. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
It's strange from a structure standpoint. You could say, like, Sakia, you care too much about structure, you care too much about story and narrative and weaving narrative and gameplay, and it's like, yeah, I do. You know, can't you just accept that this game does not have a single Warthog section that you're just like, oh my gosh, remember when? It's like, I can. I'm just pointing that out. That's all.